The link in the description is only there to see the source material. Do not under any circumstance go to these people with the intent to be a dick. I don't support witch hunts or lynch mobbing, so don't be either. As for the subjects themselves, my video is for the purposes of criticism and entertainment. Take it or leave it. My content is not here to start drama. Please do not treat it like it is.
How are we getting destroyed this bad?
Well, Brooke doesn't want to actually hit the opponents in any way and is only helping us.
Violence is bad! And I don't want my friends to get hurt.
And this is the first time you've ever joined us.
Yeah, okay, good point.
And Scarlet...
An ally has been slain.
Yeah, adding on to that, our rando bailed on us, and that pretty much spells thought.
So that means we have to try harder. If we pull together as friends, I think we can overcome any-
Fuck it, we're throwing. I've got commentary material, let's just wait it out.
Oh. Okay.
So it looks like Icyhazard is back for an encore performance, so I guess you can welcome her to the stage. However, this time she's performing with a partner, Creepswork. The two of them are here to teach us about how to make an OC, and it's a shame that they don't know jack shit. I'm skipping this long-ass opening segment, mainly because it contributes nothing. I don't have a problem with you thanking your subs, but you have an entirely separate video just tacked onto the beginning at this point. Concise, please.
In the storytelling justice system, OC-based offenses are considered especially heinous. In YouTube, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies have a little too much time on their hands. This is their rant.
Before we get into the actual video itself, I want to prepare the viewers. The people are playing as characters. The advice they give is legitimate advice, but as personality goes, they are playing as characters. This will be important later.
Designing an OC is usually based on the type of theme your story is based around, simple or complex. The design should symbolize the purpose and role of whatever shitball you just made.
Black and red and other color schemes are overused.
Well, if the colors are what sells you a character, then you must have been dropped on your head as a kid and only paid attention to the bright flashing colors on your television screen. Besides, if this Ghost Rider looking bra can just be black and white, I can be black and red too, you fucking twat sucker.
Well, there's a few things. One, where's your character? All I see are red splotches on a black screen. We get it, you obviously don't give a fuck about color schemes, but my god, black on black is a wonderful idea, right? Second, and this goes to your argument against your own straw man, because Lord knows you fucked up there. Why does this straw woman character also have a problem with Mr. Sandman?
Sandyman has no sand!
Being black and white. I mean, you're obviously creating a hypothetical argument to argue against, but it's stupid because you're just assuming this hypothetical person wouldn't have a problem with your co-op partner that, by the way, we haven't even seen yet. Also, by the way, I do. And it's the same problem I have with your design. It blends in with your background, or lack thereof, and only leaves us with a white blob we just see floating in the screen.
Also, wouldn't color be one of the first things that catches your eye when it comes to characters? Now, I'm not saying that every character has to be bright pastel to catch your eye. Just that when we see characters, the first thing we notice is the color and whether it draws us in to learn more about the character or makes us want to tear out our eyeballs because someone doesn't know how saturation works.
Speaking of saturation, let's put your OC into Photoshop and see the value scale. That is extremely flat. The problem with using black and red as a part of the color scheme isn't that it's overused or edgy, but rather that it is not great when put into a value scale, especially when you don't know how color works. That being said, there is a way to make black and red work when using it in a color scheme. Here's a character that I've made that does have a black and red color scheme. Now here's the value scale for that. Comparing it to your value scale, you can tell the difference right away. When you're not using a striking red and a pitch black, as well as colors that accent the scheme, you can make a color pattern that has been used before work. Just get good with colors, mate.
A defining trait of a character is their color palette, and not only from a visual design standpoint, but also from a narrative one. Why are Yasuo's color themes predominantly blue? Well, because blue is linked to wisdom, knowledge, and intelligence. You use violets for ambition, yellows are considered childish, blacks are powerful, and greens are tranquil. This is why most characters have the palettes they have. It's actually very important to consider the colors your characters wear because it says something about them as people as immediately as it says something about their design.
Is that voice gonna be a thing?
Who put you through the stretcher?
Now he's flat like his character's design!
This is gonna get really annoying really fast. But you know what? If it wasn't for that obvious parody voice, I'd be in those pants right now. Anyways, the character has to be simple enough to recognize them, but complex enough to be interesting. But the complexity should be relatable.
Relatable?
Yeah, I'm just not gonna do that because, like, we can't sync for shit.
Oh yeah, guys, I totally relate to Jinx, because I too am a blue-haired, sharky cannon-wielding psycho who likes to blow shit up.
Yeah, I've been a 30-something samurai with wind magic this whole time.
And I'm a huge Bora with the most glorious mustache.
I'm a furry. Wait, no.
Look at me, for instance. A skull mask, sunglasses, SWAT vest, all the things an average person knows. But when a character looks like some weeaboo shit from Black Butler, and they look too proper, not like a main character that would be doing whatever it is that they do. Unless they're a butler. That's really boring.
You mean like Black Butler? You mean like your own example?
I'll just take my Vishnu and go home then.
You even example, bruh.
Actually, there is something else here that relates to something you say later. I'm saving it for then. For now, though, allow me to say, Sandman, you don't look like a detective. You look more like a Call of Duty protagonist from the little bit I can see. Good job, you defeated your own point, faggot. And before you say anything, yeah, I know you're supposed to be a bounty hunter, but you introduced the video with detectives, so it still counts here.
That's not to say that you can't make your character look decent, just don't make them look like a fucking prude 19th century England royalty. There's nothing more boring than Downton Abbey.
Unless, you know, it's something like this magical thing called period fiction. You know, stuff like embalming, for example. A story about Frankenstein's fucking up Victorian England. Or moving this to other places in history, like Mushishi or Samurai Champloo, which are also period pieces and adhere to a cultural norm during that time.
You're trying to dictate what people can and can't do here, and this becomes very apparent further into the video as well. You can't just tell people they can't do something just because you don't like a particular setting or a type of character. Any idea has the potential to be great and interesting. Don't stifle creativity, man. Oh wait, you don't have any.
Not to mention that not every character has to be relatable to be liked, nor do they have to be liked in general. Hannibal Lecter comes to mind right off the bat.
I mean, unless you relate to a serial killer, then we have a bigger problem.
But OCs are supposed to...
Oh, look! I shot them! I must be the worst person ever! I can't relate to this! Oh my god!
And there goes your argument. Good job.
You had one job, you two!
There it is. It's dead on the floor. We didn't even have to kill it. Does this count as redemptive suicide?
I'll go get the shovels.
Tell me if this sounds familiar.
I shall kill each and every one of you and stain the walls with your crimson bodily fluids.
That's how most OCs talk. This is how they should talk. I'm gonna fucking splatter your shit all over the wall, faggot. A killer is most likely not going to talk like it's the 1850s, dipshit. If you want your character to be cool, every aspect of them has to be cool too.
Because I know the 13-year-old griefers are the coolest people on this earth. Are you fucking serious? Is this real life?
Nope, just fantasy. It's all fantasy. Bohemian Rhapsody!
Caught in a landslide and escape from reality.
Also, cool is subjective.
God damn it, Doodle, you ruined it!
Combo breaker. That aside, there's a much bigger problem with your advice here. You're trying to say they have to be cool all around, as in one-dimensional, one personality trait, which a good character does not make. In fact, those are the kinds of characters that get overlooked and forgotten as side unnamed characters that mean nothing to much of anyone.
Okay, like, seriously, as a fan of period fiction, I feel personally attacked. Because I guess Ginkgo is a bad character because he speaks formally. I guess Masa is shit because he's mild-mannered and hates fighting in front of others. God, the narratives you want to make are boring.
But of course, if your character is in the 1850s, then we're in a whole other ballpark.
1850s my ass. I'm going straight for the Nazi jokes. Characters have a reason to be the way they are. You can't just say, oh, I was harassed as a kid. Yeah. Hell no. Get into the fucking detail on the character's life and the struggles they had to face. Like maybe a psychotic sibling, paranormal creatures, daddy issues. Really depressing daddy issues. Okay, maybe I'm just describing myself. Oh, well, it's better than nothing.
But you said!
So, backstory. These things are not their personality. It's their backstory. These things inform their personality, sure, but you only bring up the things that do the shaping and not the final shape. Please try harder than not at all.
I was also gonna bookmark this for later, but hold the phone. You just defeated your own argument again. You state that a character needs to be more than just I was harassed as a child, before going on to explain your own backstory as daddy issues. Really bad daddy issues.
Also implying that you can't just have a character get harassed as a child when that's just as valid of a backstory as anything else. You don't necessarily need super details because getting harassed makes people think of the typical forms of bullying like name-calling or physical violence. Yeah, it helps, but you're restricting people again, you weenus.
2 words. Fucked up. You can't expect an average person to become a superhero or whatever shit if they start out as the most cookie-cutter goody two-shoes.
Don't you ever say that to me again. That is a repellent statement. It is a vomitous insult to every cop, fireman, and soldier alive who steps up to fight for those who can't. If you genuinely believe that only the death of a loved one can motivate a human being to take up a cause, then get your pathetic, cynical ass out of my way so I can do my job.
Holy shit.
Thanks, it's a Daredevil quote.
You do not need to have a dark, edgy backstory to have them be a hero whatsoever. Not every character is Batman. Every character has their own motivation for becoming a hero. If I can bring in my own example, Midoriya from My Hero Academia. Sure, he was bullied by Bakugo for a lot of his life, but he was also a goody two-shoes. His first scene is him defending another 4-year-old boy from Bakugo, who can make explosions from his hands, while Midoriya had no superpower of his own. He looked up to All Might for being the symbol of peace, and he wanted to be a hero and help people, despite not having a superpower. He takes notes to learn for the future, and him showing true heroism earns him the right to inherit One for All from All Might himself. Midoriya doesn't even hate Bakugo either. Characters could have a happy childhood, or maybe be interesting like they traveled the world or how they spent their time.
This is assuming that people aren't just inherently good. Brooke's right here.
Aw, thanks.
But if you want fictional examples, how about Vash the Stampede? Vash has been kicked and beaten from the word go and still protects everyone to the point of his body being mangled, scarred, and losing a fucking limb. Hell, Wolfwood says repeatedly that Vash is too good to function and that this naivety is gonna get him and others killed. A paragon isn't a bad thing, you dumb bitch.
Superman and Spider-Man already fucked those stories to death. We need something new, something grand, and don't shy away from hurting the character, or maybe even kill them in the process. You want the story to hit people hard, something that'll make them either love the character for a long time, or, you know, want to kill the author who wrote this shit altogether.
So we're just supposed to ignore all the good things that happen to said characters. All the small moments of relief are nothing but filler, huh? You know, this reminds me of a game that came out not that long ago that has something similar happen to the protagonist. Outlast, anyone? The game, while not a bad game, has tragic and terrifying events happen to the main guy you play as with hardly, if any, moments of relief. After a while, the game becomes monotonous and old hat, that being one of the biggest complaints that gamers brought with the game's story level layouts. This is what can happen when you have a character who has nothing but bad things happen to them, and no relief or happy moments to make the entire ride of the story worth sitting through.
Allow me to take a point from earlier to show why it's important. What did you say towards the beginning of the video? A character has to look like what they do. Now you're telling us, think outside the box. So which is it? Do we have to make them cookie-cutter one-note characters, or do we have to give them more diversity in their backstories and throws off the audience in a memorable way? If it isn't obvious, I'm sensing more self-defeating contradictions.
And that's disregarding the fact that this isn't new in any possible way. Let's lean back on comics for a moment. Matt Murdock has lost 3 lovers, his father, and in Wade's newest run, his best friend got fucking cancer. Matt's a writer's punching bag, and while you're right, these stories are compelling and interesting, so are the chapters where he helps Foggy fight his cancer, how he goes out of his way to make sure that, when Foggy has to be thought dead, he goes out like a hero and is remembered by everyone. These things help build on relationships and make the bad times more compelling. But no, it's fine. I'm fucking fine.
You're actually not fine.
How many gritty reboots have we had in the last 5 to 10 years? Like Hiten said, this isn't anything new. If anything, it's starting to get run into the ground. Man of Steel, the Dark Knight trilogy, heck, even the Amazing Spider-Man movies to some extent.
Actually, now that I think about it, you want a superhero to have a tragic backstory, then you use Superman as an example to the contrary. What's more tragic than losing your family, friends, and home planet? Do you even know what your examples are? Try again.
Killing the author is a really smart move. But again, relatability. No, I don't mean they had a bad home life and their dad was drunk. I mean the characters have relatable personalities. Throw home and social life out the window for a second, and before you make this person a shining example of what a person should be, and then through wacky situations turns into a bloodthirsty bastard, just remember, why would such a prim and proper character be thrown into these situations? It took 2 wars to make me who I am today. Vietnam was hell. For them. I had a blast! Also, don't make your character in the 1%. And by that I mean they live in a good neighborhood, but they're the only emo faggot in the world.
Why do bad things happen to good people? Because bad events and the like make for interesting stories. Yes, you do need to have moments of relief, but balancing the 2 instances of peace and chaos is what you should really strive for. It shouldn't matter where the person comes from, or what kind of home life they have, really. You can set up your character story however you choose. It's how you write the character to deal with said situations that makes it interesting. The why on how it happens can be something to bear in mind for the sake of consistency in story driving. But it doesn't have to be the focus on why it happens. Some people don't know why bad things happen, and they just have to deal with the fact that they happen.
Grant you that's not the only problem with your stupid tangent. Let's throw out all home and social life, only to go on and continue to focus on home and social life with your rich emo example, which, once again, contradicts itself. I'd ask you to stay consistent, but I guess it's hard to be when you look like a grade-scaled war vet version of the most inconsistent anti-hero ever.
So you mean like...
In time.
So we can't be from a good home. We can't be from a bad home either. Do we just spawn characters from an ethereal void then? What the buttery shit are you even trying to convey at this point?
They aren't special. It's through the plot and storytelling that they become special.
I literally lost a good chunk of my family because of my teen stupidity, so yeah, no goody-goody gumdrops here, only death and destruction!
Can't you tell by my expression? My post totally matches the inflection in my voice.
I'm at this point questioning less the character, but more Icyhazard as a person, given that what you two are bringing here, her character just got through giving us some wonderful information on her character killing her family by teenage stupidity. Relatable. Right. Because a lot of teenagers can relate to killing their family due to complete ignorance to needing medication. Clearly.
I know that's how my brother died.
Shut up, mate! You're not a Hanzo!
Oh, this is the fun part. Sci-fi, horror, action, fantasy, comedy. Maybe a mix of all of them. The world's your oyster and you should treat it as such. We've seen every kind of story from any of these types of themes, so now it's your chance to actually take those and crush them into something better. Why can't sci-fi and fantasy cross over? Or maybe even paranormal gets explained by science. I'm sure there's a way. Just don't, for the love of God, don't follow a trend. You can only get so far with that shit before you eventually lose ideas and go completely downhill.
Unless you're making a butler, then they have to be a butler.
Hi, Star Wars, how are you?
Hi, Walking Dead, Last of Us, and Resident Evil, how are you?
Honestly though, altogether not the worst advice you could give, to be fair, but don't act like following a trend is inherently a bad thing, especially with broad genres like horror, comedy, fantasy, and science fiction. You can do so much with those alone that unless you're trying to follow a specific trend, it's damn near impossible to do so. But who am I kidding? I'm talking to a Marvel fan character who had her whole family die.
And?
I said in time, Hiten.
Also implying that you have to mix genres to make a good story to begin with. Considering that each of these games are broad enough on their own that you don't need to mix unless you really want to. Let's look at some different examples. Tiger and Bunny and My Hero Academia both have a world where having powers is the norm, but each take their own spin and have a different focus. Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, both fantasy, but both take vastly different directions. Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek, both are hard sci-fi, and both, again, take the genre and do something different from one another.
What about a genre that makes fun of said tropes by showing them in all their naked glory? Mob Psycho 100 and One Punch Man are great examples from a guy who saw the traditional tropes of teenage super freaks and a demigod Superman and brought them into the comedic scene. Parodies and commentaries of those genres have just as much of an audience as your traditional fantasy or horror sci-fi. Oh, and don't even get me started on Splatstick. Comedy and horror, taking the hammy tropes of horror films and action films and mixing it into a gory comedy paradise. Thank you, Evil Dead. Oh, and don't even get me started on ghost stories.
Just don't be a Sonic fag, basically. You will go nowhere.
Like Carr said, for creepypastas you have to realize horror is not capable enough on its own. There has to be a mix of genres.
Oh, we're in my house now, you derivative fuck. Sit down, son, cause your cod ghost looking ass needs some schooling. What do you consider pure horror? No supernatural elements? So Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Halloween don't stand on their own? Pure suspense and limited monsters? What's your beef with Silent Hill, The Thing, and The Blair Witch Project? You talking psychological horror? Cause I've got amnesia for games, and if you want movies, how about Apocalypse Now or The Shining? If we want to get classical, then fuck The Pit and the Pendulum, am I right? Wait, you wouldn't know anything about that, would you? What with your fucking hate for anything 19th century? Get the fuck out of my house!
As I said, horror is, on its own, such a vague genre that really anything can work in it, and still keep you on your toes. Especially since horror is different from person to person, and while some are afraid of pizza place animatronics, others might just be afraid of demonic possession. Some may be afraid of long dark hallways. Or, you know, heights. Heights works too.
That's what keeps you on your toes. A 16-year-old that lives in a small suburban area with friends. Wow! That's fucking boring. Try a gritty setting, makes the characters transition into whatever they become more realistic.
Oh, because it's not like people put horror stories into suburban areas to give it a more familiar setting that gets thrown out of whack due to whatever psychotic killer appears out of nowhere to kill people and scare the bejeebus out of their audience. We, as humans, are far more comfortable with familiarity, gives us a sense of hominess, and there's nothing more fucked than stepping into someone's comfort zone with a knife or gun in hand and death in the eyes. Not gonna say it can't work in the opposite way. Grittiness would give the setting a bit more atmosphere to work with, but don't act like they can't be put into a neighborhood with white picket fences and freshly cut lawns.
Gritty doesn't automatically mean more realistic, you fricks. To the real life people that made this video, is your life doom and gloom? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. There are ups and downs, and you two are not Batman.
Yandere Simulator, a game about killing students to reserve your senpai for yourself. A game that has a happy-go-lucky anime art style on the surface that will gradually change the more students' bodies pile up or go missing. A game that, despite this cheery setting, is down to its core a horror game where you play as a monster.
Hello, JoJo Part 4, how are you? The setting is almost entirely in a small town, Morio, where a dozen or so people are shot with the stand arrow. When we meet Raimi, we find out that a stand user has turned serial killer.
Every stand user is suspicious. Unlike the clear-cut allegiances in Part 3, we don't know whose side a user is on or if they're on one at all. The tight feeling atmosphere makes this part stronger. Man, Crazy Diamond couldn't even fix this video.
Of course not, Brooke. There's no stand that can bring back the dead.
Trust me. When your character grows up in a slum then becomes a killer, it won't be a stretch of the imagination. Just look at Detroit!
Wow.
That's... oh boy.
Wow!
I can't. Whoa.
Wow!
Goddamn, you have no idea how sociopaths, psychopaths, or really anything that makes a good killer, do you?
I get that you're playing some sort of edgy character here. I mean, your liberal use of faggot shows as much, but... Jesus. Horrible implications aside. Mental illness and abuse are only things that happen in low-income neighborhoods. Nobody in the upper echelons of society gets drafted into the wars, or has an abusive spouse, or an abusive lover, or has mental problems. No, I don't... How do you think the fucking world works?
Also, Car, ooh boy, does your partner think you're a stretch. Miss killed her family at a family dinner where everything was, and I quote, happy.
Art style is key. Fuck your anime bullshit. Ever wonder why none of your art ever gets recognized? Because it all blends together when someone scrolls through DeviantArt. Oh look, 50 characters that all have the same line work, coloring, and features. There's a reason I look the way I do, because my creator likes odd shit, stands out more.
No, you look the way you do because Icyhazard doesn't know how to properly design the look of a character with a dark color scheme, and your creator is too lazy to come up with his own design.
Gee whiz, guys! These characters look exactly the same, don't you think?
Also, if I may add, while anime is a common style to go for, you do know that anime can take many art forms and styles, right? Penny is Talking with Garterbelt, Death Note, Saga Tanya the Evil, Soul Eater, Psychopaths, Black Lagoon, Sailor Moon, Astro Boy, Princess Tutu, Usagi Drop, and Black Rock fucking Shooter! Drastic style changes and tones for each show, and they are all considered to be in the anime category.
Also, that problem you brought up with everything looking the same, that's not something that happens to just people who like anime and try to draw in that style. It's called same face syndrome. where characters' faces don't have any variance to them whatsoever. And what's wrong with an artist having consistent line work and coloring? That would play into their style, and having it be consistent is not a bad thing in the slightest. And even then, every art style is at least slightly different unless someone traces a picture or straight up reuploads someone else's artwork. People can have the same inspirations that affect their art style. No one can be 100% unique in this regard.
That goes for his porn, too. Miyazaki, the creator of great anime movies such as Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, and many, many more, hates modern anime for a reason, and doesn't have feel anymore. When all your shit looks like sword art online, no one will take you seriously. Have some fucking pride in your nation and draw non-Japanese style characters, you fucking weeaboo.
You wanna fucking fight me, boy?
Anime art styles don't stand out. Says the character that looks like he comes from a bootleg Marvel comic. Oh, right, Marvel fan character. Totally stands out amongst the crowd.
You see, whether you can draw like this or not, being able to think up this kind of design, it depends on whether or not you can say to yourself, oh yeah, girls like this exist in real life. If you don't spend time watching real people, you can't do this, because you've never seen it. Some people spend their lives interested in only themselves. Almost all Japanese animation is produced with hardly any basis taken from observing real people, you know. It's produced by humans who can't stand looking at other humans, and that's why the industry is full of otaku. This quote is attributed poorly all the fucking time. It's about how sexualized the industry has become purely to cash in on otaku who can't get laid. Learn your shit.
Or, you know, don't reference anime as much as you have to, because let's be honest, anime is complex and overused. It's always, oh, here's a group of characters, they're in a world or a deadly situation, there's some complex story that sometimes goes completely over the top and does not make sense, then shit happens, people die, everything is fixed by like a million episodes, and boom, 10 out of 10, best story. Yeah, no. It's good how it can help maybe inspire you sometimes, but you should really get your head out of the rice bowl.
First, Moe shit. Hurts your point a lot. Second, just allow me to bookmark that for later use.
Third, quite a few anime that are lauded for their stories are only 13 to 25 episodes. Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, Fooly Cooly, for example. Hell, just because the anime is long doesn't mean its story isn't good. Case Closed has been running for 19 years, One Piece has been running for 20, and JoJo... holy shit, has been running for 30. Man, length doesn't indicate quality.
Fourth, not every anime ends with a happy ending. Corpse Party, anyone?
Fifth, let me bring in a modern anime that debunks your point completely. The Saga of Tanya the Evil, a story about a patriotic girl who fights for her country. Sounds like a simple premise, right? Well, minor spoilers ahead, but she's actually a reincarnated businessman from Japan who picked a fight with God at the second before his death, claiming that because he understood the rules of his society, he didn't need to cling to faith in order to get what he wanted. So what does God do to try and fix his lack of faith? God sends him into a new world where faith is the foundation of life in this World War I or II setting. And if he wants to survive, he will need to fight for his life with a heaping helping of prayer and a hell of a lot of faith. The unnamed businessman is reincarnated into Tanya. And boy is she a stubborn little lolly. She'll fight for her own personal belief and do her damnedest to win against this battle of wits against the creator of fucking everything. There's more to the show than just the battle of man versus God, but this being one of the major plot points of this story drives viewers in for more than just a psycho Nazi lolly blowing shit up.
You mess with the weebs, you get the steebs.
Your dialogue needs to sound natural.
I must do this in order to be accepted amongst my peers.
Is not natural.
Why not? If the character normally speaks that way, then wouldn't it fit the character to speak that way, you dingus?
Ooh, pick me. Yusuke Kitagawa from Persona 5? He speaks in what would be considered a more prim and old-fashioned manner due to being raised in a more classic Japanese environment. This, when translated, gives us quotes like these.
My persona has gained new power. What a skill! I'd like to try this skill soon. Our range of tactics has expanded. Good. Your repertoire is growing. Well done on your new skill. It's you. What a coincidence. Did something happen?
Because it's, say it with me now, part of his character!
This seems to be not taking into account how setting matters too. Yeah, people from different parts of the world to different time periods are going to speak differently. What's your deal with the 19th century? Did it kill your family?
Why do you hate me, Creepswork? What did classic lit do to you?
I think it killing its family might be a possibility with how things have been going in the video thus far.
And make his character some sort of original at least.
Take how you talk and use it. Make your characters smart. Make the situations challenge them. Make their enemies stronger than them. This will be hard to write, but the end result will be better. My life was all easy until my creator decided to nerf me because he realized I would have been boring. Fuck you.
Well, fuck you too!
Alright, so there's a checklist. Gotta make them smart. But what if they're an inherently unintelligent, carefree character? One that doesn't get themselves into situations that challenge them? Not only are you pointlessly vague with how you're written, acknowledging the fourth wall of your creator, more on that in a bit, not only are you pointlessly vague with how you'd write your rivals smarter than your protagonist, but you also seem to believe every character is a character out of a specific genre that actually requires a conflict and a struggling resolution. Make the situations challenge them. But what if they're a child prodigy in something, or a brainiac sidekick who can hack into technology? What if they're a fantasy character barbarian who needs a megaphone and knows exactly how to make one using a megaphone, a scroll, and some string? I mean, some characters have to be knowledgeable in some things, have to not be challenged in some things, especially since you say this right after saying that the character needs to be smart. Enemies have to be stronger than them. Well, the JoJo girls have something to say there.
Hey Brooke, do you remember Okuyasu's fight with Josuke in part 4?
Of course I do! Okuyasu had a powerful stand, but he's dumb as a sack of rocks.
How about when Joseph tricked the Pillarmen into letting him live at the beginning of part 2?
Yeah, Joseph abused Wamu's sense of pride, and the other two were like, okay, whatever, here's a death ring, see you in 30 days.
It's almost like having a protagonist outwit the bad guy can be just as compelling as if it's a constant Machiavellian chess match. Why do you want boring narratives? Is it because your own is original as nice brand potato chips?
My life was average before my brother went completely psychotic. After that, there's some cross-dimension crap that I still don't understand, but hey, I got guns and an axe, plus I'm attached to a demon ghost that gives me a strength boost and a speed boost. Saving the day is in my nature, after all.
You know, something about that, God, it just seems so familiar. Brooke, you hear it too, right?
Yeah, it's very familiar. Incredibly so. Huh.
So your brother went psychotic.
Cross-dimension stuff you don't understand.
Guns and an axe.
Demon ghost with strength boost and speed boost.
So you're a
Joestar?
Joestar?
But normal people don't have all those weapons on hand and a balloon demon thing to power them up. What happened to keeping things relatable and realistic?
And she says no complex anime plots.
Whew, now this is fucking beautiful. So not only do you A, set up a bunch of contradictions that would confuse anyone who watches this with half a mind. B, completely counteract your character designs with the exact same contradicting advice you're giving your audience. But you, C, acknowledge those problems like it's okay. No, it isn't, because this is genuine advice you're trying to give to your audience on how to design an OC from the ground up. Everything you have said up to this point is completely undermined, because you chose to point out something that I have been pointing out all video. That Icyhazard's character is contradictory to all of the advice and falls under the exact same pet peeves you guys say not to do. So what the hell? Did you guys just not see that? Did you guys not pick up on how much truth there is in jest? Dude, Sandman, your whole character's personality is snarky and sarcastic, yes, but at this point in time, it bites you back hard. But oh, don't worry. You have your own flaws too. In time.
Holy fucking shit, Doodle. You know what? I genuinely thought about skipping this ending bit, but considering we're 13 pages in at this point and we've been scripting for hours, we don't have anything left to lose. Doodle, Brooke, Scarlet, let's hit these bitches.
Hey, there's no complex... whatever enemy. It's like Ghostbusters on crack.
Good job, Icy. You don't even know how to keep a character consistent. You had no problem pronouncing anime earlier, and you guys were referencing real-life Ghostbusters 2016, meaning anime exists in your world.
Oh no, I'm sorry. My comparison from earlier was wrong. You're a fucking Persona user! This fucking bullshit is the most hackneyed anime garbage I've ever seen. And the best part is that you're trying to pass off a rice ball like a hamburger. I'm not for kids. I fucking noticed.
Also, while the concept of a demonic or any other supernatural companion being forced to help out the protagonist isn't anything new, you do nothing but the bare bones with the concept. And this entire time, you two have been trying to steer people away from traditional anime tropes and protagonists. Yet Car is fucking full of that shit and your buddy over there pretends like it isn't even a thing.
So what the writers run when making the reboot. Haha, topical humor. Even though that was last year, when this was written.
It ain't topical if it's from a year ago. Despite when this was written, you could have taken that joke out and prevent the horrible embarrassment of a redundant joke.
Shit.
At least I'm not a Deadpool knockoff.
How dare ye? How dare ye?
And the other shoe drops.
Is that 19th century speech I hear? Ye old English is slipping, Sandman. Thou needst to fix thine own speech pattern.
I wanna
fucking die.
This conversation is not helped at all with not only this editing with his character moving towards the screen out of sync, but he's so inexpressive! The face is such an important aspect of expressing character, and when you wear a mask, the other parts of the body have to come into play, but they just sit at home because they were too lazy. Car isn't any better. She's stiff and can't express anything other than, "This mildly annoys me."
Hypocrisy, hypocrisy. Check your fucking shit before you post it, nerd.
Well, at least I don't need to rely on my demons to make me special. If I had a nickel for every character possessed by a demon, I wouldn't need to be a hitman now, would I?
Hey, Sandman, read your stupid webcomic. You don't want a paper trail when your client was gonna write you a check. You don't take payments. Unless you're trying to screw over your clients for thousands of dollars. Oops.
It's not really possession, he's just stuck with me because he fucked up in his past.
So is it a mutual agreement, or are you two fuck buddies to pass the time?
Ew, no, he hates everyone.
Fuck her. Oh god, please no.
How would that even work?
I mean, being attached to Car sounds like punishment to me. My life would be full of skillet and disappointment.
The voice for the demon, like, can you just not? Your voice acting on both your ends for these characters is so cringy that I could watch the entire SAO first season and it would be better presented. You see that? You just made me compliment Sora online, you fucks!
So then you're single. Let's mingle. You better be glad I'm already sterile.
Haha, don't care. Yeah, what the fuck?
Kick me in the nuts, I slap you in the tits.
God, I really enjoy how long it took for you to react to something like that. Gee, for a bounty hunter you are slow and inconsistent. You would think you need faster reflexes and a sharper mind to be a hitman. Or did you lie when telling us we need to make our character smart?
We either hate fuck each other or continue this vicious cycle.
Do you die temporarily?
Nope, concentrated healing. Now, before you say Deadpool, kill yourself.
You're Deadpool.
An ally has been slain.
Come on! If we weren't League trash, this wouldn't have happened.
No, but in all honesty, yeah, you kinda are Deadpool in and out. You reference the fourth wall, like Deadpool. You have constant healing, like Deadpool. Your design akin to Deadpool. Your sarcasm in the way you act as if nothing's wrong, like Deadpool. Gets paid to kill other people, like Deadpool. You aren't afraid to screw over your clients being an anti-hero, like, you guessed it, Deadpool. You have nothing original going for you, and you choose to give us all this advice of how we're supposed to stand out amongst the crowd when you're not even your own character. Piss off.
Except Deadpool's an actually compelling character.
Not to mention that he's a parody of another comic book character. Honestly, if this were a canon character in the Marvel Universe, he'd be a shitty version of Deathstroke.
That's all I need.
Ow!
Bye, bitches, I'm out.
Huh?
Oh, fuck!
What?
And we end off with your acting screwing up a comedy skit. We're done. Have I killed these two enough yet?
Well, that was a thing. Let's just get our final thoughts out of the way. Doodles, please go first.
Well, obviously the biggest issue I had with this video was how much it was self-defeating. You guys consistently try to give good advice, but it just comes off as hollow by the end when you both show how much you two can't fucking write for shit. Technically, a lot of this isn't inherently wrong from the word go. A lot of this could be good advice under certain circumstances. But that's also a problem with this video. Under certain circumstances. You try to lump everything together as if it's just how to do it with no other ways of doing it, and in turn get on your moral pedestal with, "This is how you do it." God, I wanted to knock that pedestal down by the end of the video. My advice, either change your characters to practice what you preach, or change your own fucking advice to match up with the potential what-ifs. Which would basically come down to, write your character however the fuck you want to write them. Which, I'm sorry if that's not good advice for you two, but it'd be only fitting to how you actually make an OC.
Good lord! Watching this video nearly gave me an aneurysm. From piss poor attempt at comedy to extremely restrictive advice. Nothing butters my biscuit like telling someone in art that they can't do something. No trope is truly worn out, no idea is inherently bad, because they're all tools at an artist's disposal. It's what you make of it. I don't care if you have certain preferences to how you like your stories, everyone has them. But this video can be harmful to newer artists trying to spread their wings. It would be so easy for someone to fit themselves in your box and be unable to put forth the ideas that they had because Icy and Creep said so. The mentality of, everything outside what I prefer is bad, needs to freaking die in a fire. I legitimately feel sorry for all the young artists that look up to you, if they even exist. They deserve better.
I've been sitting on this video for way too long and biding my time because I knew this would be good co-op material, and fuck, look how right I was. This entire video aims to make one thing and one thing only: anti-heroes. Yeah, Jason Todd is cool in moderation, but remember that the fanbase had to kill him first to make him interesting, and then they hated him during New 52 when he was exactly the character you've made. Your narratives are so unbalanced we didn't even have to apply any pressure. They fell apart on their own. Ignoring the importance of a paragon, attempting to create one type of villain, abandoning a proper setting, and disregarding both art and writing styles with nothing but broad generalizations. We originally planned to go a little easier, but seeing the way you behaved in the comments and the way you behaved towards me later on, the kid gloves are off. You want to dance the dance? Well, it's ballroom fucking blitz time, baby!
The high and mighty attitudes you two paraded around in this video was just disgusting. And this isn't just because of the characters you two played as, but the fact that these ideas carried over into these characters, and you treat what you said as the end-all be-all when creating original characters. Cover yourselves up, there's children watching you, for God's sakes. Seriously, a young artist just starting out who sees this is gonna have a hard time expressing their creative freedom by taking that advice that you two just gave. Not only that, but from the way that your characters are designed in both looks and personality just shows that you have no idea what you're doing. Yet you think that budding artists need to follow what you set as standards. Finally, the fact that you two didn't look over the script you set up for yourselves and it led to so much undermining on both your ends just shows how well your characters actually work together, i.e. not at all. Hell, chemistry isn't even something that you two even bothered to mention in the entire class session of yours. Just a pathetic version of what you think character personality should and shouldn't be. For artists that try to be good influences, you sure as hell don't know what you're doing. Maybe set up the course better for next semester, okay?
Well, I guess I sort of expected.
Victory!
What the fuck?
How? We didn't even do anything.
Hi there. I'm glad I could be of assistance.
Did we just get carried by a single minion?
God, we fucking suck!
JJ, no Ray!